Hi, my name's Celyn and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna be doing a glass painting. You may have seen one of these already because they've been everywhere. The trend was around a few months ago, but I'm only now like hopping on that trend. I'm always late to trends. I've actually done two of these over my TikTok account lately. I did a Kirby one, and I also did a Link one from Zelda. And you guys love them on TikTok, so today I thought I'd do another one and I'd also do like a little tutorial on how to do it along the way. But if you don't know what a glass painting is, it's basically like a sheet of glass and you like paint on the one side a little bit messy, but then when you flip it, the result on the other side is like awesome. But I am so excited to get into today's video. I'm going to be painting Mabel and Waddles from Gravity Falls today. Me and my boyfriend Will have been loving that show lately, so I just thought it was appropriate. But anyway, let's just get started. So let's start with the things you're going to need. So first things first, you're going to need a Sharpie or some kind of permanent marker. You're going to use one of these to outline your design. I actually tried using a Posca pen the first time I did one of these and it smudged and smeared, so I recommend using a Sharpie. The next thing you're going to need are some paintbrushes. You definitely don't need this many, but I quite like to have the variety. All you really need is one big brush and one small brush for smaller details. The next item you're going to need are some acrylic paints. Yay! I'm going to be using Arteza ones today, but you can use any brand that you like. But here are some of the colors that I picked out for my painting today. We've got some neutral colors and some bright colors. Next up, you're going to need an image or a reference or something to trace. I recommend printing it off beforehand. And finally, you're going to need your glass. I'm actually using transparent acrylic today. I actually ordered this by mistake, but I think it's so much safer and it does the same job. And it also gives off the same effect. I got these in a 5-pack off Amazon. If you guys are interested, I'll leave the link down in the description box below. But anyway, let's just get started. I'm so excited. So I grabbed my reference image. You can grab yours too. I then grabbed my acrylic sheet. You can grab your glass if you're using glass. As you can see, my acrylic sheet had like this protective layer, so I peeled that off and then I grabbed my Sharpie because it's finally time to start tracing all those black lines. Try and trace as many lines as you can see. I went ahead and traced everything, but you can just do whatever you fancy. You're gonna want to do these lines first because they're gonna be like the bottom layer of your painting, if that makes sense. I'm trying to word it so that it makes sense, but it's so difficult. So if it doesn't make sense, just trust me. But as you can see, I just went ahead and did all of my outlines. I find this bit really therapeutic and I enjoy it so much. What I really like about Sharpie is the fact that it dries really quickly, so you can do whatever that you fancy and then you can lean on it without worrying about it smudging. It's just the best. But once you finish your outline, here's what it should sort of look like. It looks a bit scary. Look at Mabel's eyes! I then did a second coat of this in some areas, especially on Mabel's eyelashes and eyebrows, because they were a little bit thin. You don't need to do this step if you don't feel like you need to thicken anything up, but I just personally wanted to thicken up her eyelashes and eyebrows. I then went ahead and grabbed my paints because it's time to start painting. So I went ahead and grabbed a pink to start with. I'm going to be using this to paint Mabel's cheeks. So at this point, you're going to want to think about what's going to be on this layer. You're probably going to want to put your shading if you have a shaded image, but for me, I don't have any shadows, only little rosy cheeks. So as you can see, I'm just painting away. You can probably see that I'm actually dabbing the paint on instead of brushing it on most of the time. I recommend doing this because the shiny surface means that when you're like applying lots of layers of paint, it can often lift itself up, which can be so frustrating. But as you can see, I finished everything on this layer, which included Mabel's cheeks and little braces. And then I moved on to larger areas like Mabel's hair. Because I don't have any shading or anything, I was able to paint whatever I fancied at this point. So I could have done a jacket, I could have done a skin. But if you watch closely, I switched between dabbing and also brushing the paint on. Brushing the paint on is so satisfying, but it does often leave gaps. I used a grey to paint Waddles' little hooves, and as you can see, I brushed this on instead of dabbing, and you can see the gaps a little bit. So after this, I went ahead and did a second coat and I dabbed the paint on this. Once I finished Waddles' hooves, I actually grabbed my white acrylic paint and I started to paint over some of my other painted bits. So as you can see, I'm painting Mabel's teeth here and I'm painting over her braces, but when I flip the image, the braces will be on top of the teeth. This bit's always a bit scary because if I miss a bit in the braces, the white will shine through and you can't really fix it. Just make sure you're happy with your bottom layers before you move on to the top layers. But as you can see, I then moved on to paint Mabel's face. Yay! This part was so fun and super therapeutic. It does take a long time, but there's something so fun about painting on the shiny surface. It's just so smooth. Once I finished painting Mabel's skin tone, I moved on to paint her jumper, which was a super hot
pink, and I really loved it. I then painted her headband, which was the same color as the jumper, and I waited for her hair to be completely dry before I did this. And then it was finally time to paint Waddles. Yay! I left Waddles till a little bit later because I wanted to focus on one thing at a time. But as you can see, I started painting Waddles' little snout with a big brush. The big brush was a little bit big, so I swapped it out for a smaller brush. And as you can see, I started by painting Waddles' like main snout area, and then I painted the nostrils. I probably should have done this the other way around, but it doesn't matter too much as long as you stay within the lines. At this point, all I had to do is paint Waddles' skin, and you'll probably at a similar point within your painting too. You then leave it dry for a little bit, and then you should be able to flip it over and see the result. I love mine so much. And here is the result. Yay! I love it so much. I can't decide if my Link one or this one is my favorite, but I just think this one's so cute. I do have a soft spot in my heart for Mabel though. She's just so precious. But I'm so happy with how it turned out. It does have a few imperfections. There's some bits where I wish I'd gone over with Sharpie a little bit more before I started painting. But in general, I think it turned out really, really nice. I'm so happy. But I hope you guys were able to follow along okay if you wanted to have a go at this yourself. But if you aren't looking at doing it yourself, I hope you guys enjoyed anyway. I just can't stop doing these at the moment. They're just so fun and they're really quite easy to do. They do take a little bit of time because the paint takes quite a long time to dry. I feel like the results were amazing for like minimal effort really. But if you're having a go at this yourself, I hope you were able to follow along a-okay. If I missed something or didn't cover something enough, just drop your questions down in the comments below and I'll try and answer as many as I possibly can. But anyway, that's pretty much it for today. If you guys have any suggestions for what you'd like to see me do in my next video, leave them down in the comments below because I love to do what you guys want to see. But this was super fun and I hope you guys enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed painting this. But if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already because it really helps me out. We're almost at 5,000 followers, which is super, super exciting. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all next week. Bye! I hope you guys were able to follow along. I cannot speak today.